What is it?
I have you to thank for it. For the first time in my life, when confronted with a horrible, insensitive person, I knew exactly what I wanted to say, and I said it.
She stood in the lobby of the One Aldwych Hotel in London, and the entire room went silent. People stopped mid-conversation. Waiters froze. Everyone stared. Meg Ryan, America's former sweetheart, now public adulteress, homewrecker, fallen woman, felt the weight of their judgment pressing down like a physical thing. And then she started laughing. Not nervous laughter, not the kind meant to deflect, real laughter. Because in that moment, she realized something most people never do. Public shame only works if you believe you deserve it. That was over 2 decades ago. She has barely spoken about what really happened between her and Russell Crowe, until now. At 64, Meg Ryan is finally telling the truth. And it's not the story anyone expected. The woman the world thought they knew does not exist. Never did. The Meg Ryan of the rom-coms, the one who made you believe in love at first sight and second chances, was a performance so convincing that when it cracked, people felt personally betrayed. She was not supposed to have affairs. She was not supposed to leave her husband. She was not supposed to want darkness, danger, or anything that did not end with a kiss in the rain. But she did. And the price she paid for that wanting was her entire career. Stop here for a moment. Because what happened to Meg Ryan is not really about Russell Crowe. It is about what Hollywood does to women who stop pretending. It is about the impossible contract between a female star and her audience. You can have fame, you can have money, you can have power, but only if you stay exactly who we need you to be. The moment you change, the moment you reveal that the woman on screen is not the woman in your life, the contract is void, and they take everything back. She was born Margaret Hyra on November 19, 1961 in Fairfield, Connecticut. Her mother had been an actress. Her father was a teacher. She grew up watching people perform versions of themselves, learning early that survival sometimes meant becoming someone else. She took her grandmother's maiden name, Ryan, and went to New York to study acting. She dropped out 1 semester before graduating. It was a gamble most people lose. She won. By 1989, she had become the most bankable romantic lead in Hollywood. When Harry Met Sally was not just a hit, it was a cultural event. Women quoted it. Men quoted it. That scene at Katz's Delicatessen became the most famous fake orgasm in cinema history. Meg Ryan, with her bright eyes and that haircut everyone wanted, became the woman every man wanted to date, and every woman wanted to be. She was warm. She was funny. She was safe. She made over $670 million at the box office from just 4 films. Sleepless in Seattle, French Kiss, You've Got Mail, When a Man Loves a Woman. She earned $15 million for a single movie in 2000, a paycheck almost unheard of for women at the time. She could open a film on her name alone. She was more than a star. She was a brand. And brands in Hollywood are not allowed to be complicated. But her personal life was already unraveling. She had married Dennis Quaid in 1991 on Valentine's Day, after postponing the wedding once because he admitted he had a substance abuse problem. He went to rehab. He got clean. They got married. They had a son, Jack, in 1992. On paper, it looked like the fairy tale. In reality, it was something else entirely. Quaid later admitted that by the late 1990s, he felt invisible. When they walked down the street in New York, people shouted Meg's name. He said he actually felt like he disappeared. He called it a growth opportunity, but at the time it was painful. He was the movie star when they met, but fame is not static. It shifts. And by 2000, Meg Ryan was a phenomenon, and Dennis Quaid was the man married to Meg Ryan. That imbalance does not destroy every marriage, but it destroyed theirs. She has said that the marriage was unhealthy for a very long time. She told Oprah in 2006 that it was pretty much not a happening marriage, and that she probably should have left much earlier. But she did not. She stayed. And then she met Russell Crowe. Here is where the story turns. Because the affair that destroyed her reputation, the scandal that cost her everything, did not happen the way the tabloids said it did. The marriage was already over. Not legally, not publicly, but emotionally it had been dead for years. Russell Crowe didn't end her marriage. He just arrived at the moment she finally decided to stop pretending. They met on the set of Proof of Life in 2000. He played a hostage negotiator. She played a woman whose husband had been kidnapped. The chemistry was supposed to be acting. It was not. Friends who watched them together said they were consumed by each other. They talked constantly. They emailed. He called her all the time. One friend told People magazine they seemed crazy about each other. But they were also secretive. Even with close friends, they would not share details. They avoided press interviews to dodge questions about the affair, a decision that infuriated the film's director, Taylor Hackford, who later said he was deeply hurt by their refusal to promote the movie. The film suffered. Their reputations suffered more. In July 2000, before her divorce was finalized, Meg and Russell were photographed leaving Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible 2 premiere party, holding hands. The image went everywhere. America's sweetheart and the volatile Australian actor known for throwing phones and picking fights. It was tabloid gold. And it was the beginning of the end for Meg Ryan's image. The relationship lasted less than a year. By Christmas 2000, they were done. Distance was part of it. He lived in Australia, she lived in Los Angeles. But there was something deeper. Russell wanted marriage. He wanted kids. He gave her extravagant gifts, a 1963 Buick, a puppy. It was too much, too soon. Meg had just escaped one marriage. She was not ready to walk into another. Russell later told an Australian newspaper that he grieved the loss of her companionship, but not her friendship. He called her a beautiful and courageous woman. He has never spoken badly of her, not once. That detail matters, because the man the tabloids painted as a wild, destructive force was, by all accounts, a man who fell in love and got his heart broken. The villain was never Russell Crowe. The villain was the industry that punished Meg Ryan for being human. She was called a homewrecker, a scarlet woman, cold, difficult, arrogant. Her next two films, In the Cut and Against the Ropes, bombed. In the Cut, a dark erotic thriller directed by Jane Campion, was the kind of risky adult role that should have proven her range. Instead, it was used as evidence that she had lost her mind. Critics hated it. Audiences stayed away. It grossed $23 million worldwide. Against the Ropes opened to $3 million. The math was clear. America did not want this version of Meg Ryan. Then came the Michael Parkinson interview, October 2003. She was in London promoting In the Cut. Parkinson, one of Britain's most respected talk show hosts, interrogated her on live television. He questioned why she would appear in such a film. He implied that her divorce and her affair had driven her to make darker, more cynical choices. She gave short, clipped answers. She looked uncomfortable. Eventually, she told him to just wrap it up. The backlash was brutal. Parkinson called her behavior unforgivable. The British press called her rude, snooty, sullen. In 2006, British viewers ranked the interview as the third most shocking chat show moment in history. For years, Meg Ryan was the villain of that story. Then in 2021, Parkinson gave an interview to Radio Times. He said he wished he had been more courteous. He admitted he had been pompous. He said if he could speak to Meg Ryan today, he would say two words: "I'm sorry." Meg, for her part, has said she felt like Parkinson was a disapproving father, berating her for her choices. She told the Times of London in 2024 that she did not know who that guy was and did not have to think about him again. It was not bitterness, it was clarity. After those failures, she disappeared. She took a 3-year hiatus that eventually stretched into nearly a decade. She told the New York Times she felt burnt out, like she was behind a window looking at her own life. She said she felt done when they felt done. The they was Hollywood, the industry that built her, the industry that discarded her. During those years away, another scandal emerged. Her face changed. Her eyes appeared uneven. Her cheekbones looked fuller. The speculation about cosmetic surgery became relentless. Some said she was starting to resemble Madonna, another woman punished for aging in public. When Top Gun: Maverick was released in 2022, her character was written as having died off-screen. Some speculated it was because of how she looked. The explanation was never confirmed, but the cruelty was. She has never confirmed or denied having work done. In 2024, she told an interviewer to move on when asked about it. In 2023, she told Glamour that she could not pay attention to the chatter, that meanness and hatred were just so unnecessary. She also said something quietly devastating, that with age, you get to a place where you say what you mean without thinking about how it's going to land. That's what liberation looks like. Not revenge, not vindication, just the slow, hard-won ability to stop caring what people think. In 2023, she returned to the screen in What Happens Later, a romantic comedy she co-wrote and directed. It was not a blockbuster. It didn't need to be. It was proof that she could still make something on her own terms, that she had not been destroyed by the scandal, only changed by it. And now at 64, she's speaking openly about what that time in her life really meant. She told The Guardian that being labeled a Scarlet Woman was really interesting. She said it was painful, yes, but also incredibly liberating. She said she didn't have to care what people thought anymore. That moment in the One Aldwych hotel lobby when everyone stopped and stared was the moment she realized public censure only works if you believe you deserve it. She did not, so it lost its power. Look at what she lost. Her career, her reputation, her box office value, her place in the culture. Look at what she kept. Her son, her sense of self, her refusal to apologize for being complicated. She adopted a daughter from China, originally named Charlotte, later renamed Daisy. She worked with CARE, a charitable organization dedicated to ending poverty by helping women. She dated John Mellenchamp on and off for nearly a decade. They were engaged. They were not. He later told Esquire he loved her but was a lousy boyfriend. She moved on. Russell Crowe, meanwhile, is in a long-term relationship with Brittany Theriot, a woman he met on a film set in 2013. They reconnected in 2020. He has said he will never marry again. He called his life joyous and happy and asked why he would ruin that with a wedding. He has 2 sons from his marriage to Danielle Spencer, which ended in 2018. He has moved on too, but the myth persists. The myth that Meg Ryan destroyed her own career by having an affair. The myth that she was punished for her choices. Both of those things are true, but they are not the whole truth. The whole truth is that Meg Ryan was punished for refusing to stay in the box that made her famous. She was punished for wanting something other than what her audience wanted from her. She was punished for being a woman who changed. Here is the detail almost everyone misses. The affair with Russell Crowe was not the mistake. The marriage to Dennis Quaid was not the mistake. The real mistake was believing that she owed the public a version of herself that did not exist, that she had to keep performing the role of America's sweetheart long after the role stopped fitting, that her value as a woman was tied to how much people liked her. She stopped believing that, and it cost her everything. And she says it was worth it. That moment in the hotel lobby, when the room went silent and she started laughing, that was not the end of Meg Ryan's story. It was the beginning of the one she chose for herself. The one where she did not have to be likable. The one where she did not have to explain. The one where she got to decide what liberation looked like, even if no one else understood. At 64, Meg Ryan is not asking for forgiveness. She is not asking to be understood. She is simply telling the truth. And the truth is, she loved a man who was not her husband. Her marriage was already over. The scandal destroyed her career. And she would not change a single thing, because the version of herself she lost was never real. The version she found was. The woman who made you believe in love at first sight does not believe in fairy tales anymore. She believes in something harder and more honest. She believes that you can survive public humiliation, career collapse, and the loss of everything you thought defined you, and still come out whole. Not the same, not unscarred, but whole. That is the story no one wanted to hear in 2000, but it is the story that matters now. Meg Ryan did not break the rules. She just stopped pretending they applied to her. And Hollywood, which forgives men for almost anything, could not forgive her for that. Russell Crowe is still working, still respected, still called a legend. Meg Ryan is called difficult. That tells you everything you need to know. She is not bitter. She is free. And freedom, it turns out, was always more valuable than fame.